All right, let's dive into something seriously creepy today.
Ooh, I'm ready.
We're taking a look at Smile, a Hindi horror story from a YouTube channel called Khooni Monday.
Okay, Khooni Monday, Bloody Monday.
Yeah, it sounds ominous already, right?
Yeah, it definitely sets the mood.
So we've got this college student, Ashi, right? She's a photography enthusiast,
Okay.
and she's just moved to Delhi for college, and guess what she finds? A vintage camera.
Ooh, classic horror setup.
I know, right? It's in her new flat, just left behind by the previous tenants.
You always gotta wonder about the story behind something like that.
Totally. Like, who owned it before? What did they capture with it?
Exactly.
And it's not just any camera, it's one of those old school vintage ones.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So, of course, Ashi's super excited,
Yeah.
hops in a fresh roll of film, starts snapping pictures of her new place.
Oh.
Flowers, plants, even her friendly neighbor, Mrs. Kaushik.
Oh.
And Mrs. Kaushik's cat, too.
Sounds harmless enough so far.
Right. Totally normal stuff.
Oh.
But here's where things take a turn. When Ashi develops the photos, there's something super creepy lurking in the background of every single shot.
What is it?
A faint, smiling figure, just kind of shadowy and blurry, but that smile, man, it's unmistakable.
Ooh, that's so unsettling.
Right, it sends chills down your spine, and get the smile, it gets more intense with each photo.
Oh.
Like the figure is getting closer.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, and the story uses some other really effective visuals too.
Like what?
Well, like plants that start wilting for no reason,
Okay.
and a mirror that cracks when Ashi looks into it.
Oh, I hate that cracking mirror thing.
It's so creepy, right?
Yeah.
It's like her reality is breaking down.
For sure.
And then things get even worse when Ashi catches her reflection in the mirror one day.
What happens?
Okay, so she sees that smiling figure in the reflection with her. But the creepy part is, it's Ashi herself holding the camera with this sinister grin.
No way.
Yeah, and then the mirror starts cracking right in front of her.
Oh, that's bad.
Right, like a physical manifestation of her world falling apart.
Totally.
But it's not just the mirror that's messed up.
Yeah?
Ashi starts having these vivid dreams.
About what?
Well, in one dream, she sees someone attacking Mrs. Kaushik, her neighbor.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she wakes up thinking it was just a nightmare.
Right.
But then she looks out her window and she sees signs of a struggle on Mrs. Kaushik's balcony.
What do you mean?
Like things are knocked over and there's just this unsettling feeling.
So Mrs. Kaushik's gone.
Yeah, she's nowhere to be found, and her cat is acting super strange.
Like it saw something.
Exactly. It's all super creepy.
She must be freaking out.
Oh, totally. And
What?
then she remembers that old reel of film that came with the camera.
Oh, the one from the previous owner.
Yeah, so she develops it, and what she discovers is just bone-chilling.
What is it?
The photos show Mrs. Kaushik, the plants in her apartment, and those flowers
Yeah.
Ashi photographed.
Okay.
But they were all taken like 3 days before Ashi even found the camera.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I know, right? It's like the camera is capturing the future.
That's insane.
And it gets even weirder because the plants in the photos are now dead.
Oh, no.
The flowers are wilted, and Mrs. Kaushik is well missing.
So the camera is showing things that haven't happened yet.
It's like a window into some predetermined future.
This is seriously messing with my head.
But wait, there's more. As Ashi looks closer at the photos, she notices that smiling figure again.
Oh, no. Not that creepy smile again.
Yeah, but here's the horrifying truth. The smiling figure lurking in the background of those old photos. It's Ashi.
What?
She is the smiling figure, always positioned right behind her past self.
That's so disturbing.
It's like she's both the victim and the source of the terror.
That's heavy.
And then there's one final photo on the reel.
Okay, what's that one show?
It shows Ashi in her living room holding the reel of film.
Okay.
But she's facing Mrs. Kaushik and a whole crowd of smiling people.
All with that same creepy smile.
Yep, all gathered around her.
Hmm.
And that's where the story cuts off.
What happens next?
Well, when Ashi's friends and the flat agent go to check on her, she's gone. Completely vanished without a trace.
Oh, wow.
So the last photo on the reel, it's like a premonition of her disappearance.
That's so creepy. I wonder what it means.
Right. Is she a victim of the camera's power? Or did she somehow become part of it?
This is wild.
And the story doesn't end there either.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah. Months later, Ashi's younger brother finds the camera among her things.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
He's curious, so he takes a picture with it, just a simple photo of a tree outside their house.
Okay.
But 3 days later, the tree withers and dies for no apparent reason.
That's not good.
And when he develops the photo, guess who he sees standing behind the tree with that same chilling smile?
Ashi.
Yep. It seems that even though Ashi's gone, the camera's power and that unsettling presence persist.
That's a chilling thought.
It really makes you think about fate and free will, you know? If this camera exists, is it even possible to make a choice that goes against what it shows?
Yeah, it makes you wonder if knowing your future actually robs you of the ability to change it.
Yeah. Or maybe it equips you to confront it head on. Who knows?
This is definitely one of those stories that sticks with you.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a vintage camera, right? Like something from another time.
Right.
But it's showing the future, which is something we usually associate with like super advanced tech.
Yeah, that's a really cool contrast.
It's like the story saying the past and the future are more connected than we think.
And that our attempts to control the future with technology could have some seriously creepy consequences.
Exactly. And this story goes deeper than just technology.
Okay.
It taps into those primal fears we have about fate and the unknown.
Right, like that feeling of being totally helpless against something you don't understand.
Yeah, Ashi's terror, her inability to escape the camera's influence.
It's like that feeling of watching a horror movie and knowing the character is making a bad decision.
Exactly. You want to yell at them to stop, but they can't hear you.
And in this case, Ashi's stuck in the horror movie.
She is the horror movie.
Right.
Oh.
And that brings us back to the camera itself. Is it actually causing these events or just showing what's going to happen anyway?
Right. Is it evil or just a neutral observer?
The story doesn't give us a clear answer.
And that's what makes it even creepier.
It leaves us with these huge questions about fate and free will, just like Ashi.
It's like if you saw your whole future laid out, would you really be free?
That's deep.
It's a question that's haunted philosophers for centuries.
And it reminds me of that Greek myth about Oedipus.
Ooh, yeah.
He was destined to kill his father and marry his mother.
And he tried so hard to avoid it.
But all his attempts to change his fate actually led him straight to it.
Exactly. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And Smile takes that idea to a whole new level with the symbolism of the smile.
Right, it's such a simple thing, but it becomes so terrifying in this context.
It's like those smiling figures in the photos know something we don't.
Yeah, like they've seen the ending and they're either laughing at us or pitying us.
Either way, it's super unsettling.
It's like they're saying, you think you're in control, but you have no idea what's coming.
And that's what I love about this story. It's not just jump scares and gore.
Right, it's about that slow burn dread.
The realization that something is deeply wrong and you're powerless to stop it.
It's like that feeling when you're walking alone at night and you hear footsteps behind you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, something bad could happen that you can't turn around to see.
Okay, that's way too real.
And that feeling of helplessness is even stronger in Smile, because the smiling figure is often Ashi herself.
Right. She's both the victim and the one foreshadowing this terrifying future.
It's like some part of her already knows what's going to happen.
And it's expressing itself through that creepy smile.
It makes you wonder if maybe we all have glimpses of our future buried deep down.
Like those gut feelings or weird premonitions.
Yeah, maybe those are actually glimpses of things to come.
That's an interesting thought.
So if that's true, then the question isn't whether we can change our fate.
But how we choose to face it.
Do we accept it or try to run from it?
And in Smile, it seems like running isn't really an option.
Not for Ashi or her brother.
It's like the camera's influence spreads out like a ripple effect.
Touching everyone who comes into contact with it.
And that brings us to the ending with Ashi's brother finding the camera.
Yeah, what a chilling way to end that part of the story.
It's like this reminder that some things are unavoidable.
Even if we try to ignore them or